Welcome back to the Breakfast with Tedflix podcast. Game of Thrones fans, we are eating so good right now. So I'm breaking down the top 5 best moments of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, episode 5. Let's go. Starting off at the number 5 spot, it's actually when Duncan and Egg say goodbye to each other right before the trial starts. He just looks up like, "Sir," and he's like, "My land, squire." You know, they're saying pretty much what they think is their final goodbye, but then Dunk is able to break the tension by calling back to what he told Egg earlier, and he says, "You best be here when I get back. Rob me, and I'll hunt you down with dogs." And it's just so great when Egg goes, "Woof." I was smiling ear to ear when I first saw it, and I still smile every time I watch it. But his smile obviously fades away because he's like, man, he might not make it out of this. And so, yeah, it's just such a great, charming, heartwarming moment. This show has done humor like amazingly well. I think the humor overall in this show has been so real and authentic, and that, in my opinion, is getting more and more rare to see in movies and TV shows in today's world. So I think, honestly, just for that alone, this definitely deserves at least the number 5 spot. But coming in at the number 4 spot, I gotta give it to Ser Arlen saving young Dunk in the flashback. He barges in, says, "Let that boy be," and he quite literally chops off one of the dude's heads clean with the sword. I mean, that was quite literally my reaction in real time. I'm like, who in the world is this man? I didn't know he was actually built like that. I mean, sure, the lead up to this moment took a little bit too long in my opinion. I think they could have trimmed down the Rafe scenes a little bit, but it was kind of all worth it for this Arlen fight scene with these guys. I mean, dude, he just was putting in this work. What a performance by Ser Arlen. I was not expecting that kind of performance from him. It makes sense why Dunk looks up to Ser Arlen so much. I mean, what was Dunk gonna do in this situation? He just got stabbed in the leg by a spear. What happened to Rafe was absolutely traumatizing to him, literally, and that was quite hard to watch too. But regardless, Ser Arlen was his guardian angel here, put up a unreal performance for being absolutely blacked out, outnumbered 2-1, saves a little kid. I mean, how much of a badass do you have to be to pull that off? Ser Arlen, hands down, you get the number 4 spot. I mean, sheaths his bloody blade and just carries on. What a legend. If I was Dunk, I would follow him too. And that actually leads us to the number 3 spot. But up next in the number 3 spot, I'm giving it to how young Dunk decides to follow in Ser Arlen's footsteps from that day on. When I say he's following in his footsteps, I quite literally mean he is tracking down Ser Arlen wherever he goes. And he starts by going to his camp outside of King's Landing, and he's like, okay, let's check out this guy's sword. This guy's an actual knight. He's the real deal. And he looks over to his shield, and it's got the cup with the wings on it. And I think that's kind of interesting. He was like his guardian angel who just saved his life, and Dunk is looking for family. So that's kind of like a holy grail for where Dunk right here follows him for miles and miles, has to listen to this drunken Dothraki song, and it just shows how loyal Dunk is to Ser Arlen from day one. I just love that. And after following him for so long, Arlen finally notices and sees Dunk out in the distance here. And as he's mounting these horses, he sees Dunk kind of collapse, kind of foreshadowing what we see later in the fight when he collapses later. I just think it's so cool that the first word Ser Arlen ever said to Dunk directly was "get up," and that's what wakes him up this first time. That leads us in to the number 2 moment. So coming in at the number 2 spot, it's when Dunk gets up and fights Aerion. This party wakes up, and then he's all of a sudden sees that morning star coming at him. Boom, clocks him in the head. He has to eat another one, and then gets that mace right in the face from Maekar. And then Maekar tries to come back, but then Baelor gets him off of his horse with a spear, and Aerion pushing. He's on the attack, hits him again. He's able to slam Aerion down with that 300-pound pressure, and Aerion pulls out this little cheeky blade, gets him in the thigh, and right here, he literally has to clench the blade and stop it from hitting a critical area. He literally has to pull a Muad'Dib from Dune Part 2. You know. But then thankfully, Raymond Fossaway comes in clutch right there and gets Aerion off of him at that critical moment. And then this part, Dunk has to literally pull the knife out through his hand. Absolutely brutal. But once Dunk gets that blade out of his hand, Aerion picks up the sword, and this was an insane sequence. He's trying to find his sword, and then he gets stabbed in the back. Must have been brutal. I know he's got some chainmail to help him, but still, he gets his sword, and then is able to defend a little bit, but then Arian locks him up right here and then follows up with that shield, and then, dude, boom, hits him with that mean bear claw. So Arian gets up, deflects the sword, does a little spin move, and then applies some good pressure onto Dunk. Then Dunk slams that away, applies his pressure onto Arian. Arian deflecting with the shield, and then Dunk gets Arian off of his feet, and then he's like, sheesh, these wounds are starting to add up. I'm starting to bleed out kind of quick, but Dunk is just a tank. He's just bigger and stronger. He's able to take these hits. As brutal as it was to watch, I was just like, man, dude, Dunk, you are a unit. You got to just keep pushing through, man. I mean, Arian is able to throw and yeet a sword into his leg. Like, how is that even possible? How did it stick in there? He bashes him down with the shield. I mean, this fight choreography is insane. And then is able to get the sword, pull the sword out and put it in his visor. And at that point, Dunk is like, hey, get off of me. Get off. I need to take this helmet off. I could have barely seen it to begin with. Now I have a cut in my eye, so I might as well just take it off. I might as well, yeah, I can't see in general. And I think it's at this moment when the helmet comes off, the Ser Duncan the Tall Knight comes off, and the Dunk of Flea Bottom activates. Kind of like how Peter Claffey said in behind the scenes of this episode. It's like there's a moment where he becomes Dunk of Flea Bottom, starts fighting dirty a little bit. I think it's this moment when he takes off that knight helmet. Now that Dunk can actually sort of see with the helmet off, he's able to put in some full body swings at Arian, and he gets Arian backpedaling into this little kind of post thing. And this is a critical shot right there. Oh, right in the upper thigh. Oh, and then slices it out, and Arian's just writhing in pain. I was just cheering from the couch. And it kind of looks like Dunk's going to finish it, but then he stumbles, and he's out of it. He's losing too much blood, for sure. He collapses, and that kind of mirrors the moment when he was dehydrated and worn down in the flashback when he collapsed in front of Arlen for that first time they met. And right now, he's losing too much blood. He's too wounded. He's too worn down. And he drops down. I kind of get it. He's been taking a lot of damage this fight. But we start to get Egg saying, "Get up, sir. Get up." And Arian's just like, "Yield. Yield." And then it's like this moment right here goes to Dunk's POV. And Arian's like, "Yield." And I could have swore it almost sounded like a zombie from Call of Duty Zombies. Like, let's go back and listen to this. Dude, you cannot tell me that's not a Call of Duty zombie just going, yeah. But yeah, after Dunk hears Arian yelling at him, "Yield," like a freaking Call of Duty zombie, he's like, you know what? I'm going to take a little nap. Watching this live for the first time, I was just like kind of reacting like Egg. I'm like, "Sir, get up, sir. Get up." Obviously, this leads into what is undoubtedly the #1 moment and the best part of the episode. Arian thinks he has won. He's literally thinking he's got this W. He turns around and he says, "He's dead. It's over." And bro, it ain't over yet. That's right. Taking the #1 spot. Could it have been anything else? No. It's when Dunk gets up one more time. And watching this live was just something else. I mean, hearing Egg say, "Get up, Ser Duncan. Get up." And meanwhile, they're about to call the match. He looks to the guy to blow the horn, but then Arlen's like, "Get up." And he wakes up and he goes, "Wait." And dude, when I heard him say, "Wait," literally the song I heard in my head was Linkin Park, "Somewhere I Belong," when it's like, "I'll find myself today." If you see the edit I make, you'll know. And we get our boy getting up one more time. And Arian's like, "Ah, shit." And this guy, he just won't quit. Even the crowd is cheering for him. Dude, I mean, man, I got goosebumps just watching this on mute right now. And he's up with the sword. And Arian's like, "Dang, I really gotta keep fighting this dude." All right, okay. He has to like awkwardly bend down because of his thigh injury to get his sword. Arian gives the signal that he's ready to go, and Dunk goes in, some big swings, and that lures him close to him. He capitalizes on that. Dunk is playing dirty. He's that flea bottom boy. He does these big swings in order to close the distance, and he baits him to lunge close at him, and he blocks it with his shoulder and then uses his body weight to then throw the sword down and throw him down. And now he's in complete control. Again, he pins down his arm with his leg, and he's a 200-pound guy, 100 pounds of armor for sure. That's 300 pounds just controlling him down. And he's like, oh, yeah, you loved using this shield on me. You want your shield so bad? Here you go. Takes off the face mask, just pulverizes him. I mean, he's just clearly taken out all of the pain and all of the hardship that he's had to go through in his life, and he's just unleashing it onto Aerion. And then Aerion finally says, I yield. And he says, I yield. And Dunk slams him down and finally processes and realizes, I really just won. I did it. But then he realizes the fight is not over. Everyone's still going at it. I love this part. He has to literally drag Aerion over to the Ashfords and get Aerion to vocally say, the trial is over. I'm done. I yield. I withdraw my accusation. Bro, one of the toughest moments in Game of Thrones history. He literally is forcing the person who accused him and started all this BS to admit to the host of the tournament and the trial, I withdraw my accusation, and throws him over. I mean, bro, tough. That is adrenaline pumping right there. And then they blow the horn, and Dunk is declared the winner. I mean, this is hands down one of the best moments in Game of Thrones history. Sure, Dunk is tall and he's strong, but it's not the physical strength that helped him win this. He clearly was physically spent completely, but it's when Egg calls out, get up, and it's that bond that Dunk has with Sir Arlen and with Egg. And it's in that moment he knows he has to rise as the knight he always wanted to be. And it's tragic to see what happens here. I mean, I really wanted him to work with Baelor, but I kind of figured Baelor would bite it in this episode, but I wasn't expecting this head injury thing. That was kind of shocking. But yeah, we'll see what happens in episode 6 and the ramifications of Baelor dying. Dunk has Egg. I know he'll get through it because now he's definitely a true knight of Westeros. So props to you, Dunk. You're an absolute legend. That, guys, is gonna be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I mean, Game of Thrones is so back and I'm so here for it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to chill and trust in the one who's above. He's got your back when no one else does. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace out.